These are my top 24 players in fantasy football as of right now. Before I get into my rankings, I want to let you guys know some exciting news. We have partnered with Flock Fantasy, Fantasy Stock Exchange, and Dynasty Land Football to create the first ever collaboration website of YouTube fantasy football creators. With this collaboration, you're going to get access to our full rankings plus everybody else's full rankings, bonus articles, bonus videos, plus we have so much more in the works. This is going to be an amazing place to be. You're going to absolutely want to be here for your drafts and for your season. Just go to flockfantasy.com to sign up. Use code ENDGAME when you sign up. You'll get access to a 2-day free trial to check it out. You don't need to enter any payment information. And should you decide to sign up because it's so amazing, you will get 30% off your membership using code ENDGAME when you sign up. Or check the description below. I've got all the instructions with the link on what to do. Flockfantasy.com. Use promo code ENDGAME. It's completely free to try out. I highly recommend you do. Check it out. It is fantastic. At number 1, I'm going with Justin Jefferson. He's an absolute beast. I know a lot of people will say, how do you not have a running back at number 1? I don't think you need to go running back at number 1. Justin Jefferson had over 1,800 yards last year. He's probably going to lead the league in yards and receptions again. And he could see a massive bump in touchdowns because he actually scored far less touchdowns last year than he really should have. Has weak breaking upside. I know he hurt you in week 17, but outside of that, he carried your team on most weeks. Jefferson is my number 1. At number 2, I'm going with Jamar Chase. I think entering year 3, we see his true potential this year. Tied to Joe Burrow in a great offense, massive weekly upside. Love Jamar Chase this year. I got him at number 2. At number 3, I'm going with another high upside wide receiver. That is Tyreek Hill. The Dolphins did exercise Tua's 5th-year option, which gives me confidence that they feel he will be the starter not only this year, but the following year. So I feel good that Tua will be out there week 1. And we saw last year Tyreek Hill with Tua was an absolute monster, huge weekly ceiling. I got Tyreek at 3. At number 4, I got another wide receiver, this time Cooper Kupp. It sounds like Matthew Stafford is healthy and he'll be back. In every game Cooper Kupp has played with Matthew Stafford, he's been incredible. No real bust games outside of injury. Might not have the ceiling of the first 3 guys, but he's got by far the highest floor of almost any player in fantasy football. I have him at 4. At number 5, we get to our first running back, and that is Christian McCaffrey. And I know he's in a great situation in San Francisco, in a great offense, but you got to be a little nervous coming off another season with plenty of touches. Let's not forget the 2 years prior, he only played 10 total games. Even last year, we were hearing things where he was banged up going into games. We saw games where they limited his snap count, limited his touches. I think if he stays healthy all 17, he will be great. Just a little bit worried about can he actually stay healthy for all 17. Then at 6, I've got a rising young wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. Love CeeDee Lamb. Showed everybody what he is capable of last year, finishing as the wide receiver 6 despite having to play with Cooper Rush for 5 games. I think outside of the top 4 wide receivers I already mentioned, he has the best case as finishing as the number 1 overall scoring wide receiver. So I got Lamb here at 6. Then at 7, I got Stefan Diggs. Not really worried about him demanding the trade or not being in Buffalo next year. He's still elite. I know he struggled down the stretch, but I wonder how much of that was Josh Allen's elbow and how much of it was Diggs. Gives you a very high floor, similar to Cooper Kupp, with a high ceiling as well. So as long as he stays in Buffalo, I've got him at 7. Then at 8, I've got my next running back, and that's Austin Ekeler. And I'll be honest, it's hard for me to rank Austin Ekeler right now. Without Joe Lombardi there, will he see as many receptions? Will this offense become a more vertical passing offense? Less dump-offs, less checkdowns? And can he sustain this crazy touchdown rate he's been on the last 2 years? But I'm not really going to bet against him, but I am a little nervous enough to drop him to number 8. Then at number 9, I got Jonathan Taylor. I know people are low on him because he burned them last year with the number 1 pick, but he's still only 24 years old. He's still an elite talent. 20-plus carries every time he's healthy, every time he's on the field. Massive touchdown upside. I think we see a big bounce back year from Jonathan Taylor. I got him at 9. Now at number 10, this is where I feel like there's a big teardrop for the wide receivers and the running backs. So this is where I'm comfortable taking Travis Kelce. Can't really worry about the age concerns anymore until he shows us that he's going to slow down. And he has not showed us that he's going to slow down. Should still be the number 1 target in Kansas City. It doesn't sound like they're going to do anything significant in terms of wide receiver. Kelce, tied to Patrick Mahomes, massive weekly upside, a huge advantage at tight end. Got him at 10. Then at number 11, back to wide receiver. I got A.J. Brown here. huge, tremendous weekly ceiling, but a little more volatile than the other guys we've talked about so far. I think that's what drops him down here, but he's still in a great offense attached to Jalen Hurts. He should have another very strong season this year, like him at number 11. And then rounding out the top 12, I have a rookie, Bijan Robinson. That's right, I have Bijan Robinson in the first round right now. I don't care. He's as close as you can get to a can't-miss talent. Think about Saquon Barkley coming out of the draft, Ezekiel Elliott coming out of the draft. These guys who came out of the draft and absolutely put up huge fantasy numbers. That's going to be Bijan this year. Wouldn't surprise me if he's the top scoring running back in fantasy football this year, but right now I've got him right at the end at number 12. Then at number 13, this is where I'm going Devonte Adams. Some question marks about who the quarterback will be, but also going to be 31 years old. We did see some signs last year that maybe he's not quite elite anymore. This could change, obviously, based on who they bring in at quarterback, but with Derek Carr now gone, Aaron Rodgers sounding like he might be in the Jets. It's getting thin at quarterback for him. So still tons of weekly upside, but I can't take him as a first rounder anymore with the uncertainty. Got him at 13. And at 14, this is where I'm going Saquon. The good news is he's back with the Giants. Daniel Jones is back. Nothing should change in this offense. It should still completely run through Saquon Barkley. My worry is he's coming off a season where he just had a tremendous number of touches. And this is a guy we've seen get banged up in the past, stayed relatively healthy last year. Can he do it again next year? I'm not sure. Got him at 14. At number 15, I'm going with King Henry. We know how this works. He's going to get incredible volume. He's got a chance to score a touchdown every time he touches the ball. It comes down to can he stay healthy or not. And at this point, kind of like Travis Kelce, you just got to bet on him staying healthy until he doesn't. So Derrick Henry should still see a ton of volume, has tremendous touchdown upside. Did see some dips in efficiency last year, but I still like the volume. Got him inside the top 15 at number 15. Then at 16, I have Garrett Wilson of the Jets. Just talked about it, sounding more and more like Aaron Rodgers will be his quarterback going into next season. And if that's the case, you got to love Garrett Wilson. Might even move him ahead of somebody like Devonte Adams based on who Adams gets as his quarterback. But right now, I like him at 16, kind of early, middle-ish of the second round. I think that's a great spot for him when those other wide receivers are gone. 1,100 yards with terrible quarterback play last year. We could see 1,400 yards this year, double-digit touchdowns. Love Garrett Wilson. At number 17, I have another second-year player, running back Kenneth Walker. Showed how good he is, showed what his talent is, has home run potential every time he touches the ball. The reason I have him this low, as much as I like him, is because of that pass catching. Only 27 catches in 15 games last year. That's not even 2 catches per game. Hard to see a path where he catches a significant number of passes, but still. Touchdown upside, big-time yardage upside, got him at 17. And then at 18, I'm going with another running back. That is Josh Jacobs. Look, I admit it. I might be too low on Josh Jacobs again. We know he's going to be a Raider again. He's going to get all the touches in this backfield. And what I do like is they franchise tagged him. So he's not playing with a 3-year, kind of contract here. He's basically playing on a contract year again because he's not guaranteed to get paid in 2024. So I think he will be motivated to go out there and perform like he did last year. This may be too low for him, but I've been burned too many years by him. This is where I have him. Then at 19, I have the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Doesn't have a huge weekly ceiling. I mean, he can when he scores touchdowns, but he gives you a very high floor in PPR leagues. I'm not worried about Jameson Williams stealing tons of targets from him or anything. He's the number 1 receiver here. He has that juicy slot role where you know he's going to get good plus matchups, going to get a high target share like him at 19. Then at 20, I have another young receiver, and that is T. Higgins. Even though he's got Jamar Chase on the other side, he shows he's an alpha receiver as well. He can go off on any given week. Definitely has a bit more volatility because he is playing with Jamar Chase, but still, it gives you that upside that can win you weeks. You got to like that, especially at number 20. And then let's just keep the run of young wide receivers going because at number 21, I have Devonta Smith. True breakout in year 2 last year, now going into year 3, the year where most wide receivers really reached their peak. Tied to Jalen Hurts in a great offense. Has A.J. Brown on the other side to take pressure off him, take defense off him. Love Devonta Smith heading into year 3. I could see him actually outperforming this ranking significantly. And then at 22, Jalen Waddle, another young wide receiver. We saw when he was healthy with Tua last year, he was great, has monster weekly upside, incredible yard after catch ability. I got Waddle at 22. At 23, one more young wide receiver entering year 2. That is Chris Olave. Now has Derek Carr as his quarterback. You got to feel great about that. He gave Devonte Adams over 180 targets last year. Now, Derek Carr isn't a great quarterback, but he's good enough to support Chris Olave in this position as a second round wide receiver. When you're looking at the wide receivers behind him, there's nobody I can put over him here. He has tremendous upside. He runs the deep routes, runs the full route tree. I like Chris Olave a bunch in 2023. And then finally, rounding out the top 24, I've got a running back, and it is Travis Etienne. I know Doug Peterson's saying they want to bring in more running backs or whatever. I don't buy it. We saw it last year. They basically traded James Robinson because they're like, he's not good enough, and Etienne is. I think whoever they bring in, Etienne will be the guy here. He's an explosive talent, tremendous weekly upside. Like him right at the end of round 2. So that's my top 24, but if you want to see our top 12 running back rankings, check out this video right here.